Hello and welcome back to Resolution. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, press the bell for the notifications so you get your notification every time we upload a new video. Give us a thumbs up if you like this review of the Sinnis Apache 125, and if you don't forget a double thumbs down. So today we're looking at the Sinnis Apache 125 2020 model. This bike starts at £2,399 from Sinnis. The cc for this bike, as it is described, it's a 125cc. Now the engine layout is a single cylinder engine, very basic, nice and easy for your 125 bikes. It's a 4-stroke engine, not a 2-stroke like some 125s coming at. It's a 2 valves overhead cam engine. It comes with 11.2 brake horsepower or 8.3 kilowatts of power. So it's got enough power to get you moving, get you on the go, but it's not going to be up there with the top 125s like your Yamaha and your KTMs. Now the top speed of this bike, Sinnis has quoted it at 60 miles per hour. However, I have managed to get 70 miles per hour with a pillion on board, and also myself, I've managed to get 67 miles an hour. So even though it's rated for 60, you can push it a little bit further, but at least you know that if you do go on a single carriageway with a national speed limit, you can actually get up to that speed. And if you are a younger rider weighing a lot less than myself, you are going to get to 60 miles an hour and beyond very easy. Now the drive terrain on this bike, you've got a chain driven bike. It's got 5 gears, 1 down, 4 up. Now the fuel consumption is on average about 100 miles per gallon. I've only managed to get 140, 150 miles out of a full tank. I haven't run it to complete empty or filled up from start. So I do reckon you could probably get near on 200 miles to a full tank on this bike, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's going to cost you, with today's fuel prices of about £1.13, you're looking around about £8.50 to £9.50 for a full tank of fuel on this. So that's a really cheap bike for a lot of return. Sinnis have stated this bike has got a 10.6 litre fuel tank, and their belief is that you're going to get about 233 miles per tank. So that would be a lot of careful riding, really pushing it to its max limit. But for a 125, for less than £10 to fill up a tank, that's really good return. Now when it comes to the rider aids on this bike, there are none. It is a very basic bike. You've got your throttle, you've got your front and rear brakes, your headlights, your indicators and your horn and kill switch. That is pretty much the whole entire bike summed up in a few seconds. There's no hazard warning lights that I found on this bike. So yeah, it's a very simple basic bike to get your head around, to get out there every day and just enjoy riding. Now the construction of this bike is a steel frame. The front suspension is upside down telescopic forks. The rear suspension is a preload monoshock suspension, and it's quite comfortable. I've been over a fair few bumps and uneven ground on this bike, and I've not had any issue with the suspension finding that my back takes a beating or anything. So it does handle really well. This one comes with standard road tyres. However, I believe if you were to put off-road tyres on this bike and you were to take it off-road on some byways or private land, you're going to have an absolutely fantastic time with this. It's going to handle the terrain really well. The braking system on this bike, you've got hydraulic discs front and back. You've got a dual piston caliper at the front and a single piston caliper at the rear. Single disc. Again, real basic simple setup. The front tyre size, you're looking at a 110/70 17-inch rim, and on the rear you're looking at a 130/70 17-inch rim again. So real simple tyres. There's not much to it. The tyres on this bike, they are very basic tyres. I haven't pushed them to their limit. I don't want to, especially not on the public road. If I was on a test track and I had no problem crashing the bike, I would definitely test them to their limit and see if I get an off. However, for riding around on the road, day-to-day basis, nice and simple, they're good tyres. I haven't been able to test them in the rain, which is a good thing because we've had some beautiful weather. So yeah, for dry roads, they're cracking. Now the seat height of this bike comes in at 870mm. Being 5'7", sitting on this bike, I'm pretty much flat-footed everywhere. And the beauty of this bike is it looks and does feel like you're on a full-size off-roader, scrambler style bike. So when people look at you, it doesn't look like you're on a little Diddy 125, it looks like you're on a decent off-road bike. The curb weight comes in at 134 kilograms, and to pick this bike up, if you've had a down, is really simple. And we've got a video on our channel where we'll actually show you picking up this bike. It is really easy. If you buy this bike brand new from Sinnis, it comes with an unlimited mileage and a 2-year warranty, so that's a real good peace of mind. Bearing in mind, if you buy a CBT license, you're looking at 2 years before it runs out anyway, so in that time you're covered whilst you potentially do your mod 1, your mod 2, your A1, your A2 license, or just wait for your next CBT to come through. So yeah, it's a really good bargain for what this bike is. Right, so with the styling on this bike, it's a really nice looking 125. It's fantastic. I really do like the off-road style. It just looks brilliant. I really like it. So just going for the height of this bike, that is me on a nice flat even ground, flat-footed, both legs. I've got no problem at all with this bike. It handles me sitting on it really well. I don't get to a traffic light and think I'm going to fall off. It's brilliant. So if you are a short rider, you are going to have no problems at all riding this bike. If you're a lot taller, again, you'll smash it, no problem at all. The seating position is really upright. You're going to have no dramas with this riding. I wouldn't say long distance, but riding for a nice period of time. I've ridden for a maximum of about an hour and a half, and I found this easy. There's no problem at all with this bike. Now I have taken the pillion on board, and we managed to get 70 miles an hour on a motorway on this bike, and it was easy. Well, say it was easy. We got there, but it was it managed to maintain a good 55-60 miles an hour. When we went downhill, that's when it got easy, and that's when we hit the 70 miles an hour, and then it didn't want to know. We had to back off of it and sit comfortably at 60 miles an hour. With the rev counter on this bike, it redlines completely at 12,000 RPM and starts to redline at 10,000 RPM. Gear 1, you are having to come out of it very quickly. It's kind of like a gear to get you moving. Gear 2 is a bit more longer, you've got a bit more grunt in that one, and it will start picking you up to the nice comfortable speeds. But you do have to go through the gearbox quite quickly on this bike to get your speed going, to get up to the speed limits, and then just to maintain it, you can pop it up into 4th, 5th gear, and it will cruise nicely onwards until you need to change your speed again. Now, I didn't realise what this big pipe was across the front of the bike. When I've been looking at these bikes online, I thought it was some sort of like brace or support or something, but it's actually your front brake hose. So that it actually does look quite nice. It gives it a little bit of a feature at the front of the bike, which just breaks it up from the norm really. The windscreen on this bike is a tiny little one, just protecting the dials slightly. You do get a lot of wind resistance. At the end of the day, it's pretty much a naked bike. There's no wind covering for your body, but you're not really getting up to the speeds where you're going to find that a problem with the wind in your chest. The bike doesn't push you back at all, so yeah, the wind isn't really an issue on this bike whatsoever. It is very light when you're riding. The slightest movement in your body and the whole bike just starts moving. So for manoeuvrability, it is really responsive. The left hand side of the steering, you've got your headlight flasher, your high, your low beam, your indicators and your horns. Really simple setup, nothing complicated about this bike whatsoever. On the right hand side, you've got your engine kill switch, you've got your engine start, electronic engine start. Again, ridiculously simple, perfect for a first time rider or someone who wants a nice easy bike and just wants to get out there and get riding. The front of the bike, you've got a single headlight, I haven't ridden this at night, which is a real shame, but I can't imagine it would give you any issues. If you didn't like the amount of light that it pushes out, you can obviously upgrade your headlight bulb and get a brighter one. The front mudguard, I think it looks really nice for an off-road style. If you did take it off-road, it would fit the part really well. The suspension coming down, it looks clean, it looks tidy, it doesn't look cheap. You've got your protection around it, which is again really, really nice. Hello, Pooch. Hello. The indicators, you've got LED cluster indicators at the front. They're nice and bright when you're signalling to other road users what you're doing. The fuel tank is lock-in fuel tank. Again, nice and simple, 10.6 litres. Can't really say much more about that. The exhaust system, it is what it is. It's a simple standard exhaust, nice and chrome. Give it a good polish up and this will continue to look really nice. Get it dirty and again it's going to match the style of the bike for your off-road look. Moving to the rear of the bike, you've got an LED cluster at the rear for your tail light and your brake, which is again a nice feature for such a cheap bike. Your LED indicator clusters, again simple. You've got your pillion grab rails, which I've been told for the pillion is actually quite easy to hold on to when you're going around the place. You've got your pillion foot pegs down there, which if you weren't going to be taking the pillion, if you don't have the license to do so, you can just whip them off and it is a single seater. It looks fantastic. We've got another video where you can see us putting this bike through its paces, strapping objects to the rear of the bike. So if you do want to go camping with your friends in the summer, you can strap a bit of luggage to the back of that, pop your backpack on and off you go. This bike does have a slight amount of under-seat storage. It's a tube. Pop the waterproof cap off and you can probably fit keys, a small phone in there, a little camera, just general bits and bobs that it's just going to take the stress off your pockets, your wallet, anything like that. Pop it in there. I'd personally put some sort of like clip around it to stop it from falling out, but since I've been riding with this, it hasn't popped open whatsoever. The swing arm on the bike, it's a standard steel swing arm. It looks nice. When it's dirty like it is now, again it also looks the part. I think Sinnis have really hit the nail on the head with this bike. For a cheap 125, you can't ask for much more. You've got a engine guard protector, so if you do want to go off-roading, you're not having to worry about bashing the engine and getting a good old oil leak, which is going to potentially write the engine off if you don't shut the engine down quick enough. Yeah, I think this bike, for what it is a cracking bit of kit. A lot of people knock the Sinnis bikes as cheap Chinese bikes. However, if you haven't ridden one, just get out on it. Take one out for a test ride. They are simple, easy, fun bikes to get out there, to get riding, and they're inexpensive. You're looking at a Yamaha YZF 125, which is coming in nearly £5,000 for a 125 bike. That's extortionate money. Yes, they got a little bit more power. They'll probably do 70 miles an hour quite comfortably, maybe 75 on a downhill, but you're paying an extra £3,000 nearly for a bike that potentially you're going to get rid of in a couple of years. Start cheap, get your full license, and then spend your £5,000 or something. But until then, fill your boots for the Sinnis Apache 125. Thank you for watching this video about my review of the Sinnis Apache 125. So I'll say a big thank you to Sinnis UK who have loaned me this bike for 2 weeks to test ride. It's been a real privilege to do so. I've really liked working with Sinnis, and hopefully in the future we'll be test riding some more Sinnis motorbikes. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate everyone's subscription to this channel. Press the like button, double thumbs down if you didn't like this video, and also tell me why you didn't like it. And don't forget to press your bell for notifications so you find out when we upload more videos. And until next time, ride safe and we'll see you soon.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be if I leave tonight?